Greetings, friends. Prepare for another thrilling journey as we delve into Reddit's most bizarre tales. We're plunging deep into the quirkiest corners of the web. Grab your popcorn and join us on this adventure. Remember to hit subscribe and like. Let's begin. I, 32M, have been married to my wife Kate, 30F, for 4 years, together for 9. Our relationship has been amazing, loving, and supportive. We have good communication, hardly ever argue, and our bedroom life has gone from strength to strength over the years. We discussed cheating in the past, and I was always clear that we would be over if it ever happened. Kate went home to visit her family last weekend, which was fairly normal. Before she left on Friday night, we had a minor argument about keeping the house tidy, so our communication was limited on Saturday, but I knew she was going out to meet some friends at a bar. I trusted her 100%, so I didn't think anything of it. Before I fell asleep, I texted her saying that I hoped she had a nice night. When I woke up on Sunday morning, I had a missed call from Kate at 4 a.m., so I immediately called her to check if she was okay, but there was no answer. After a few hours, I tried again a few times, but still no answer. Around an hour later, I got a message saying she was fine and was driving back soon. Kate got home late in the afternoon and looked awful. She had clearly been crying, was not wearing any makeup unusual for her, and looked like a shell of a person. I knew right away something was wrong, but she wouldn't let me hug her and would barely speak. I sat her down on the couch and made her some tea. I gently encouraged her to tell me what was wrong, and she burst into uncontrollable tears for at least 10 minutes while I was trying to comfort her. She then proceeded to tell me, stopping every few words, that she had slept with someone last night after the bar. At that moment, something in my brain broke. I can't describe it any other way. I immediately got up, jumped in my car, and drove off. I went to a park and walked around it for about an hour. Kate was calling my phone constantly, and I turned it off. When I got home, I grabbed 2 suitcases from the garage and went to our bedroom. I threw some of Kate's clothes and shoes into them and left them by the front door. Kate was lying on the floor in the living room, curled up into a ball, sobbing. I called her best friend, who lives nearby, and told her that Kate needed a place to stay and a ride to her place and that Kate could explain everything to her later. I told Kate I was leaving for an hour and that her friend was coming to pick her up. She grabbed onto my legs, trying to stop me from leaving. When I returned home again, Kate was gone, and so were the cases. On Monday, with a clearer head, I answered one of Kate's many calls and told her that I needed her to send me an email with as many details as possible of that night, and if she leaves anything out, there will be no hope of reconciliation. I received this email on Monday night, but still haven't opened it. Since then, everyone has been trying to contact me, but I have just been working, exercising, and sleeping. One of her friends turned up at my house with an attitude demanding an explanation. I told her to speak to Kate and closed the door in her face. I have also been speaking to divorce lawyers, have moved money into separate accounts, and blocked Kate and all of her friends on everything. Everything I have done since I found out seems like I have been on autopilot. I don't feel angry, upset, or overly emotional, just numb. Kate posted a note through the door yesterday asking me to meet tomorrow, but I'm conflicted. Should I meet her? Will it change anything? Is there any point in trying to reconcile? Is it normal to feel like a robot, and how do I snap out of this? The day after Kate left, I woke up early and went for a run. Running has always been my way to clear my head, and I needed clarity now more than ever. The rhythmic pounding of my feet on the pavement helped drown out the chaotic thoughts swirling in my mind. When I returned home, I showered, ate breakfast, and sat at the kitchen table, staring at the note Kate had left. I felt a surge of anger. How could she do this to us? To me, we had built a life together, and now it was crumbling because of one night of betrayal. But even through the anger, I felt a dull ache of sadness. I had loved Kate with everything I had, and now I didn't know what to feel. I decided to meet her. I needed answers, and I wanted to hear her side of the story in person. I texted her and told her to meet me at a cafe we used to go to when we first started dating. It was a neutral place, and I figured it would be less emotionally charged than meeting at our home. When I arrived at the cafe, Kate was already there, sitting at a corner table, staring into a cup of coffee. She looked up when I walked in, and I saw the pain in her eyes. It mirrored my own. I sat down across from her, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. "I don't know where to start," she said finally, her voice trembling. "Start from the beginning," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. She took a deep breath and began to recount the events of that night. She told me how she had gone to the bar with her friends and had too much to drink. She met a guy who was charming and attentive, and in her intoxicated state, she made a terrible decision. She said it was a one-time thing and that she regretted it the moment it happened. "I'm so sorry," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I never meant to hurt you. I love you more than anything, and I know I messed up. I want to make this right, but I don't know how." I listened to her, feeling a mixture of anger, sadness, and confusion. Part of me wanted to believe her and try to work things out, but another part of me couldn't get past the betrayal. "I need time," I said finally. "I need to think about everything and decide what I want to do. This isn't something I can just get over." She nodded, looking defeated. "I understand. Take all the time you need. I'll be here waiting for you." I left the cafe feeling more conflicted than ever. Seeing Kate and hearing her side of the story made things more complicated. I still loved her, but the trust was shattered, and I didn't know if it could ever be repaired. Over the next few days, I continued with my routine, trying to find some semblance of normalcy. I went to work, exercised, and spent time with friends. But no matter what I did, thoughts of Kate and our future together were never far from my mind. One evening, I sat down at my desk and opened the email Kate had sent. I needed to know all the details, even if it was painful. As I read her account of that night, I felt a wave of emotions: anger, sadness, betrayal, and a deep sense of loss. She had been honest and didn't leave anything out, which I appreciated, but it didn't make it any easier. After reading the email, I knew I had to make a decision. I couldn't stay in this limbo forever. I had to choose between trying to rebuild our relationship or moving on without her. I decided to talk to a therapist. I needed professional guidance to sort through my feelings and make the best decision for myself. The therapist helped me understand the stages of grief and betrayal and how to navigate them. She didn't give me the answers, but helped me find clarity within myself. Through therapy, I realized that while I still loved Kate, I couldn't see a future where I could fully trust her again. The foundation of our relationship had been irreparably damaged, and I didn't want to live with the constant doubt and suspicion. I needed to start fresh and focus on my own healing. I met with Kate one last time to tell her my decision. We sat in the same cafe, the place where our relationship had begun and now where it would end. I explained to her that I couldn't move past the betrayal and that it was best for both of us to part ways. She cried, and so did I, but deep down, I knew it was the right choice. We agreed to proceed with the divorce amicably. Despite everything, I wanted to remember the good times we had and part ways with as much dignity as possible. We worked out the logistics of dividing our assets and moving forward with our lives separately. The months that followed were tough. I had moments of doubt and sadness, but I also felt a sense of liberation. I was free to rebuild my life on my own terms, without the shadow of betrayal hanging over me. I threw myself into work, hobbies, and spending time with friends. I traveled, explored new interests, and slowly began to rediscover who I was outside of my relationship with Kate. It wasn't easy, but with each passing day, I felt stronger and more confident in my decision. Looking back, I don't regret the time I spent with Kate. We had many wonderful moments together, and those memories will always be a part of me. But I also learned that sometimes love isn't enough to overcome certain obstacles, and it's okay to let go and move on. Through this experience, I learned the importance of self-respect and the strength to stand by my principles. It taught me that while forgiveness is important, it doesn't always mean staying in a situation that compromises your well-being. As I move forward, I am open to the possibility of finding love again, but for now, I am content with focusing on myself and my own happiness. Life is unpredictable, and while this chapter has ended, I am excited to see what the future holds.